All right, so I want to show y'all something, and I want your opinion on it. Let me see. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
All right. This is concerning the young lady, Breonna Taylor, whose murderers still are at large, you know, eating pizza and chilling at home, not doing, having fun. But let me show you this. This is something new that came out the other day regarding this particular case. I just want to know what your feedback is on that.
The shooting death of Breonna Taylor in her own home in Louisville. Tonight, ABC News obtaining audio. Her boyfriend describing the moment officers broke down the door and why he fired his gun. A police sergeant describing his Sami.
It remains clear tonight that Louisville Metro Police were at the wrong home, and in a police interview recorded just hours after the killing in March, the boyfriend who survived the encounter says that he and his girlfriend Breonna Taylor had no idea who was trying to break into their apartment.
I just let off one shot, like I still can't see who it is or anything. So now the door's like flying open, then all of a sudden there's a whole lot of shots.
The 26-year-old was a local ambulance technician, a true lifesaver, and was killed when police returned gunfire. You see her boyfriend, Kenneth Walker, being arrested here in the parking lot. They tried to charge him with trying to kill police officers, but those charges were later dropped. In another newly released interview, we hear from the highest-ranking officer who was at the couple's door trying to execute the no-knock warrant.
And do you remember the name of the target on the search warrant?
Not offhand.
His interview happened weeks later, and Sergeant John Mattingly told investigators he couldn't remember whose name was on the warrant or if police announced who they were when they first started banging on the door.
You said you guys didn't initially announce?
No, the first bang on the door did not announce. I think after that we did. After that, each one of them had police come to the door, search warrant, police search warrant.
The boyfriend told investigators that one of the officers at the scene approached him while he was in police custody and called what happened a misunderstanding, admitting that they were at the wrong place. None of the officers have been charged. One has been fired. David.
All right. Thank you, Steve.
So,
Wow. First reaction, I'm not even gonna lie, is anger. Oh my gosh, that's actually the really first time I've heard of the Breonna Taylor thing, but I haven't kind of dove into that. But wow, to not even know who's wow. That's our tax alert. So you get to break into people's house you don't even have to know whose house you're breaking into. You just know.
According to them, they had a warrant, so they're not breaking in. They're doing police work. But keep in mind this: it was a no-knock warrant, right? So, did you knock? Because why would you get a no-knock warrant to knock on the door? And you don't know offhand who the name of the person was? Funny thing about the whole thing is that the guy was I think he was already arrested when they did this. So he was already in custody and they didn't even know it. Police power can be great, but police cover up, you see what happens. The story changed. All of a sudden, it's like, we didn't know, and they charged the boyfriend with murder. I mean, attempted murder, immediately, as if he didn't have the right to defend himself. I mean, it makes no sense. Because you come in my house at 3 o'clock in the morning, I'm not assuming it's the police because I don't have any issues with police. So why do you think I'm assuming it's the police? Even if you said the police, doesn't mean that I'm not going to shoot back. You get what I'm saying? You better send a telegram or something because I'm going to return something. Somebody's not walking out is what I'm saying. Somebody's not walking out. So it's either going to be them or me, Dante, you have little girls in your house and wife. Somebody knocks down your door or bangs on your door. Do you respond nicely or do you respond with some force? Take the police out of it. Take the police. Take the story away.
So if it's somebody, I mean, my first reaction would definitely be to kind of jump up like, yo, what's going on? So yeah, I definitely would not wake up like, hey, how you doing? Yeah, so it would be some issues because you'd be like, well, who's at the door at this time in the morning? In the morning. So yeah, I can definitely understand that. And then also from what I heard is that she yelled out to find out who it was and nobody responded. I guess she got close enough to the door, and then that's when the door, flew open because they knocked it down, and that's when the shooting started. But yeah, it's I don't blame him for shooting, especially if somebody's knocking down your door and they don't let you know exactly who they are. I mean, because first off, I mean that's what the police have to do anyways, is to let you know that they are police officers. They can't conceal that. So,
Yeah.
So I mean, I don't know. Terrible.
I mean, I'm no expert. I wasn't there. I'm not in that situation. But if I'm a professional, because police should be professional, I would make sure that when I get a warrant, I know the name on that warrant and I remember that name, especially if I killed somebody, especially if somebody died, because it's not, I mean, maybe for me, if I kill somebody, whether they're a bad person or not, that still would be on my mind if I found out that person's name. You know what I'm saying? So when he's executed that warrant, he knew who he was looking for. So that name became implanted or imprinted in his mind forever because there's a death associated with that mistake. So for him to say he doesn't remember, it sounds like he's being coerced to change the story later on in the situation. But that same situation happened with Philandro Castile. In his situation, the police officer changed his story over time and when he got in the trial, so it's like they're told to say the right thing to make it look like that there's a threat or there's a reason. There's always a reason for them to do the heinous things that they do. And I'm not talking about all police because we know all police aren't there, but it is what it is, So that's where we are right now. So they're still free, running around doing their thing. One's fired, but we know what that means. He'll probably go to another agency. Somebody will pick him up. But she no longer has a life. She was only 26 years old. So, and I mean, I don't know how much drugs they were looking for. I mean, just think about it. How much drugs? I mean, is that like the biggest drug house or something to get a no-knock warrant? Because I'm thinking you've got a cartel in that thing. That's the only thing I'm thinking about. I mean, if that's your war on drugs, then how much drugs are you really got in that whole area? Because that's a small apartment building. But what do I know? So that's where we are with that. I got to laugh at this stuff because 2020 has been a great year. A lot of stuff has been going on.
It's been a wild year.
I swear. I think the Mayans were talking about 2020, not 2012 when they were talking about that.
Come on, for real.
We got that number wrong. Oh, man. Oh, and just to piggyback on that, on the COVID, Breonna, in Hillsborough County, they were talking about there's some brain eating disease or something like that, or that's around here in Hillsborough County. I'm like, are they making this stuff up?
I've seen that. Yep. Yeah.
Some brain eating mobia or something like that.
Yeah,
And I'm
I've
like,
seen something like
it's-
that.
I'm like, well, has it always been there?